My name is Jill Provoe, and I'm the Senior Advisor of Educational Equity here at NSCC. I'm going to talk to you over the course of the next few minutes about our educational equity policy. It's been in place here at the college since about 2019, and if you haven't checked it out yet, please do so. It's a fantastic policy, if I do say so myself. You can find it on Connect as well as on nscc.ca. Essentially, the policy really compels us as an institution to ensure that all students have the opportunity to kind of engage in and take full advantage of their education while they're here at NSCC. We are the first post-secondary in Atlantic Canada to have an educational equity policy, and it really is the sister policy to our employment equity policy. So where employment equity focuses on diversifying the staffing complement, educational equity focuses on doing some very similar things for our student body. So what I want to talk about next is the fact that at NSCC, we have a very proud access agenda. You've probably heard people at the college talk about how proud we are to be an access college, and we are proud and we should be proud, and our work to be an access institution is not going to change. It is as important as ever. We want to ensure that students from all kinds of diverse communities see NSCC as a pathway, can find their way to post-secondary through the college. However, we're kind of turning a bit of a corner and saying it's more than just about focusing on the access point or getting in the front door, but thinking about their entire journey while with us. I'll talk more about what I mean by that over the course of the next couple of minutes. But what you're seeing here in this slide is our equity mandate. This was developed by our equity leadership team. Our equity leadership team is myself, as well as Joe Fraser, our Director for the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, and Jude Gerard, our Senior Advisor, Mi'kmaq and Indigenous Initiatives. You will be seeing videos by both of them during this course as well. And so what's really important is to know that we have this vision to do some really big, bold work in equity at the college in the coming years. And I really hope that each and every one of you will play an active role in bringing that equity vision to life. So, at the college, we really do take great pride in the unique position we hold as the only publicly funded college in Nova Scotia to recognize our responsibility and our accountability to the diverse communities that we serve. One of my favorite lines in the educational equity policy says that NSCC is genuine in its commitment and intentional in its action to identify and remove systemic barriers to educational equity. I love those words, genuine in its commitment and intentional in its actions. These are really, really important concepts in the work of equity. So what do we mean by the concept of equity? Most of you are probably familiar with this, but essentially equity means that Equity 101 is the fair treatment of individuals by essentially acknowledging and making provision for their differences and to ensure that employment and educational processes are really free from systemic barriers. And so it doesn't mean ignoring difference. It is not about a cookie cutter approach to education. It is about recognizing and valuing difference. It means removing systemic barriers, and it means accommodating individuals as needed. So it doesn't matter if you're a faculty member, if you're a manager, if you're in student services or IT or facilities or any other role at NSCC, we really do hope that you will see you have an active role to play in pursuit of equitable success for our students. So what I ask is that you give some thought to your work here at the college and think about what this equity work means, what this looks like for you in your role, because I can assure you that you do have an active role to play in bringing our equity vision to life. So please do reflect on that during this video, throughout this course, and beyond. What you're seeing on the screen here now is our definition of educational equity. I won't read it to you, but it really does say some important things, and it talks about our commitment to ensuring students can access the college, they have a positive experience, and that they are achieving equitable outcomes, that they are graduating, and that they are finding meaningful employment. Increasing access and success generally requires colleges to provide culturally relevant, culturally responsive, and informed services and appropriate accommodations to remove any actual or perceived barriers that might prevent some students from equitable participation in certain courses or programs. So let's talk about what we mean by this idea of equitable success. That may be a new term for many of you. And so what I want us to think about is that I'm going to show you on the next slide What I call this is our educational equity continuum. As you see here, it is access, it is experience, and it is outcomes. So that is really taking the definition you saw in the previous slide and turning it into something in its simplest form, as I said, I call the continuum. Really important. As you can see, access is still there. That's as important as ever. But it's about thinking about the student's entire journey with us. This is really about us getting stronger with an organizational commitment to learning and to growth. We're really building muscle across academic and the entire college community to really lean into this work. This is so much more than a policy for us. I hope you can see that. This is a lens through which we plan to transform our college with better access, better experience, and better outcomes for all. And one other piece I want to add is that this idea of educational equity, it's not really new to us at NSCC. The term may be new, and formalizing it in this real systemic way with actions that are measurable, that's new and that's important. But we've really been doing what I would call educational equity in action for a long time at NSCC. I was first hired here almost 15 years ago to start up Canada's first Afrocentric adult learning program. It was a program that was all about centering the Black learner. And as a biracial woman, I can tell you that program meant so much to me and so much to community. And this has been something that we've been doing for many years. We have designated seats. Did you know that when students apply to the college, if they self-identify as being a member of certain groups, certainly Black and Indigenous, for example, that we hold a seat in every section of every program for those learners as a way to try to diversify our program. So this is really important work. So it's not that this thinking is new, but really trying to be more strategic about it and make sure everybody at NSCC learns how to embrace an equity mindset. One of the forms of educational equity you will see in the policy is equity mindedness, which means all of us really thinking with that equity lens in everything that we do at NSCC. So I do ask you all to learn more and to bring that equity lens to your work. Before I do wrap up, I also want to mention one of the things we're all thinking about so much these days is also this idea of digital equity. Digital equity is about ensuring students have equitable access to technology, to the hardware, to the software, to Wi-Fi, to really be able to navigate digital tools and to engage in learning, online learning and virtual learning communities, and being sure that students from all communities also have voice and are not silenced in online learning environments as well. So that is really an active part of our conversation right now. So now that you really have a better understanding of the equity continuum, where do you see yourself and your work along this continuum? Where can you be most impactful along this equity continuum? Is it at the access point, the experience point, outcomes? Is it all three? Really ask you to think about that, and how can you be equity minded in your approach to service delivery at NSCC? Please do reflect on that over your time in this course and again beyond. One of the things I do want you to see, I have a nice slide here, a quote from our president talking about our commitment to equity and inclusion. But please know we are also developing tools and resources and supports. We know that if we ask you to bring this approach to be more culturally responsive and inclusive, no matter what you do at the college, we should probably give you some tools to do that. So please know we're thinking a lot about that, and there will be more supports, more training, more tools coming your way. At the end of the day, strengthening our mission of access and inclusion is essential in order to prepare more knowledgeable and skilled citizens from our many diverse backgrounds and striving to create a more globally competitive Nova Scotia. We know this, and that is what this policy and this equity work, this equity mandate will help us to do. So again, please do think about how will you bring an equity-minded approach to your work, to service delivery at NSCC. And again, no matter your role, there are things you can do to ensure that all students feel welcomed and feel included and are provided with the opportunity for success. So I call on each of you to please reflect and to plan and to act in helping to make us Canada's Equity College. We will do this together. Thank you.